to 1,000 teachers and probably 400 non-certified, somewhere in the ballpark. What's that? 15 years ago, I just really yeah, the student enrollment.
And students were between 11 and 12,000.
On the True County Consolidation ballot, was there a time frame set that allowed the two systems to operate after the vote was cast?
There was not a definitive time. We had the choice to take over the next day. We chose not to do that. There was a lot of work that had to be done, a lot of planning had to be done, and to be quite honest, if I'm going to be the superintendent and I'm going to have to deal with all of them, I want to bring them in as partners in trying to set up what we're going to do, as opposed to just saying, y'all shut up, I'm going to do it my way. I'll give you a prime example. Pay scale. The Grange City's pay scale was substantially higher than the pay scale in True County. So if I said to the city employees, sorry folks, y'all gave up your charter, we don't go by the county pay scale, and all of you going to take a cut in pay. I would have had a lot of unhappy campers from day one coming into the classroom and teaching our kids. I went to the city superintendent, we went to the mayor and the city council, and we said, you are the one who wanted this to take place. We want you to pay the difference in the salaries. We entered into a contract for them for 3 years where they paid the difference in what the salary would be for the county and the city residents over time so that we could then assume that at that time. But that was for 3 years, and they committed to that.
This question speaks to the security of jobs when central office employees in the Grange were demoted, and when the consolidation occurred, the requisite county school district became their supervisor. Can you address job security? Or is that true?
From the time of the vote, Dr. Hamrick and I asked him to, every time he had a vacancy, don't fill it. In the county, if we had a central office vacancy, we didn't fill it. We ended up reducing about $770,000 out of central office over a period of those years. But we knew on the other end, it's a checks and balances kind of. There's some areas you can cut, but there's some areas it's going to go up. For example, the teacher salary schedule is a prime example. That's an increase. We reduced the central office, that was a savings, but you have to look at your individual situation, and you'll have 8 or 10 of those kind of things that you have to look at and make a decision. How are you going to handle that locally in your community?
If your school district is financially sound with strong leadership, would you still want consolidation, and if so, why?
I would want to see what it, and my real answer to that is what's best for our kids. Are we going to be able to do something for our children that we can't do now? What is it we're going to do that's better? This thing of one superintendent, one board, that's not really a determining factor when you get down to it. It's about how do you provide opportunities to children, how do you provide the tools they need to be successful, how do you offer a curriculum that is broad, demanding for all students so that the academic performance of students moves up instead of moving down. One of the key things we had to deal with was the ability curriculum issue. And those were big because the Justice Department was already very strongly into investigations on those issues.
If there are 3 school systems in the county that you're in and they did not make a YP, even though they are not consolidated, can you speak to that issue?
They did. We did. I live in a community right now that under Alabama law, which is different in Georgia, you cannot create any new school districts. You got the number of counties you're gonna have, and last time I looked, I think you were down to like 15, 16, 17 cities, something to that effect. In Alabama, they create new school districts every year. We have as many city districts as you do county districts. It is not against the law to create those. And there were 2 last month that are getting ready to try to establish city districts in the Mobile County area. So, Alabama law is so different than Georgia law. Trying to put the Alabama hat out of the way and just look at it from the Georgia perspective. The fact that you cannot create even new schools is pretty much mutes that. But the one thing is for sure, if you ever give it up, you won't get it back.
The Troup County school system is listed on the Georgia DOE 2010 report, AYP website, as a needs improvement district. Lowndes and Valdosta city schools are listed as adequate needs improvement. Can you explain the difference?
Means they've been in it, one of them been in it longer than the other. You have a progression that's based on how long you have not met the standards. I would also say there is a large percentage of schools in Georgia and Alabama that are in needs improvement. A lot of them. If the standard stays without any modification out of Washington, there'll be a lot more in it. But my understanding is they just passed a waiver. It will allow you to request at the state level a waiver for your state. Because you're in the 90th plus percentile now for every subgroup. Prime example, school district I'm in now. In our high school, we have 1,400 plus students, 1,450 students, grades 10, 11, and 12, 47 different languages spoken in the homes of those children. We do have diversity.
There were several questions dealing with taxation and the millage rate. If consolidation occurs and the tax millage rate goes up, what will the remedy be? What is Troup County's current education millage rate?
When I went there as superintendent, it had been in the 15 to 18 range. Right prior to my coming there, the superintendent for 2 years lowered it to 10 and a half and took all the money from the reserve fund. We then raised it to 13 and a half, and I have no idea where it is now. It's probably, I would guess, with the way the economy is probably in the 15 plus range.
It's 18.850. I got a tax bill in my pocket.
I would not doubt that. That sounds about it. But there are other school districts in Georgia that's in that same area.
Did city residents' millage decline or increase as a result of combining both systems and spreading those costs over the entire county?
They paid for their school district out of, they own their own utilities, and they funded us, so they had to pay whatever millage the county paid, and the administration became countywide for city and county residents. But then the city picked up all the money they've been giving to the schools out of their utility profits.
Students are bused in Troup County. How much was the increase in the budget for transportation costs alone?
I'm not sure it did go up because of the methodology. We put in place a thing called control choice, where parents chose their elementary school within the proximity zones, but then some other children had to bus. did go up.
Did property values go up as well as taxes went down for all in Troup County? But is that a true statement?
Remember property tax there?
Did consolidation promote the integration of neighborhoods, or did they remain segregated? And did Troup County relocate government housing projects? Do you think QE's plan for integration diversity will require busing like in Troup County?
What we ended up doing was, with the 3 high schools and the 3 middle schools that fed in, we made sure in every one of those 3 zones, there were former elementary schools from each of the city and county, so that it wasn't a former city district that is a city district or a former county district. There were city and county kids that way in each of the 3 zones. I have a map that anybody wants to see it, I'll be glad to share it with you. 54 miles from Miami County line, so you pretty much, transportation here stayed within this one, stayed within that one, and stayed within that one. You didn't go all over the county. But that, if anybody wants to look at it as well.
Thank you. These are questions that are basically directed to QE and members of the Chamber of Commerce. The comment by a Chamber member on the 2008 survey stated, leave the schools alone and get back to the business sector. Changing the school system structure is not going to solve any problems. Let's work on the solutions. What is the Chamber going to give up in order to get back to the business of bringing business to this area?
I'll take a stab. I'll take a stab at that. I'm Tom Gooding. I'm chairman of the board for this year of the Chamber of Commerce. I would respectfully disagree with the premise in that question. Chamber of Commerce is about developing the economy and being the voice of business in our community. Education is, as many of our speakers have said tonight, is an integral part of our economy and business. Without education, you don't have the chicken and you're not going to get the egg. So again, I respectfully disagree that business does not have an important interest in education for all of our community.
Another response on that 2008 survey made by a Chamber member commented that they were doubtful that a unified system would fairly support schools located within the city. How do you respond to that statement?
Well, again, we're all entitled to our opinions. I think that a unified school system will provide an important platform for improving educational outcomes. Will unification be a silver bullet in and of itself? No, but our studies show, and we've heard from the experience of Troup County and LaGrange, that it does improve the community and education.
We missed that part of the conversation.
If the city and